Welcome to a quick unboxing and review of Manga UK's Dragon Ball Super Complete Collector's Edition. This is their new limited edition set containing episodes 1 to 131, encompassing the entire run of Dragon Ball Super as of this video. As a disclaimer, Manga UK provided me with this set, but no money has exchanged hands, no contract is in place, and I'm under no obligation to be anything but honest. This set on most sites is £150, though as I'm writing this video, it's currently £120 on Amazon. It is a limited edition set, so it has already sold out on many websites. If you do get to the end of this video and decide you want this, you will need to be quick. With that out of the way, let's have a look at the set itself and most critically its design. Dragon Ball has been pretty cursed with poor home releases, and I don't just mean in terms of shoddy Z remasters. The packaging is often garish, or it straight up uses abysmal promo art. At least for me, there hasn't really been a home release of a series I've loved visually since the Japanese Dragon boxes. This set comes in a wonderful glossy purple premium feeling box with a tasteful minimalist design. The logo is front and center with a subtle Shenlong watermark in the background, and the renders they've picked for Goku and Vegeta are remarkably well drawn. The artist is someone called Fenyon, who you may have seen around Twitter with his various fan art posts. He's a Japanese freelance illustrator who works officially on the franchise, and you'll probably know his wonderful work from the many Dokkan battle cards he's done over the years. As far as regular promo artists go, he is easily one of the best, and I'm pleased to say his work is featured extensively throughout this set. Inside the box, the purple gives way to white digipacks, continuing with the same design philosophy as the cover, a nice Shenlong watermark and lovely Fenyon art on top. The series is broken down into Battle of Gods and Resurrection F combined, with Future Trunks and the Universe Survival Arc packed separately. Inside, the discs are double stacked with a plastic insert protecting them from rubbing against one another, and behind them is a panorama of the location each arc predominantly takes place in, whether that be Earth, the future, or the Null Realm. I am very impressed by the design work on show here. This was clearly put together by someone with not only a good sense of design, but a solid eye for good Dragon Ball art, and like I said, that is a real rarity for this franchise. There is one caveat though, and that's the outer bit of paper that comes attached to the box when you first get it. Several people have reported that the glue used to attach the paper is so strong that you run the risk of potentially damaging the box if you're not careful when removing it. As you can see here, there was absolutely no chance of me getting this off without destroying the paper. Thankfully, the box wasn't damaged, I got the residue off easily, but if you're someone who really wants to preserve that outer bit of paper for some reason, you may be out of luck. Manga UK are aware of this issue, they've reached out to the manufacturer and were told this extreme grade of glue was only used in a certain batch of sets, so you may be in luck. It wasn't a deal breaker for me personally, but I know some people will care, particularly with a collector's edition, and for that reason I felt this was worth mentioning. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the extras. In the inner purple box are some stickers and also a number of art cards. These are from various different artists. There's a Yamamuro piece from the Future Trunks arc, a pure Fenyon piece for Battle of Gods, and then the Golden Frieza and Tournament of Power arcs feature a collage of various artists. Lastly, for the Universe 6 arc, this is the most interesting promo artist and easily my favourite overall. Their name isn't public knowledge, but their shading is very reminiscent of Naotoshi Shida, so I've always just called them Shida but not Shida promo artist. Not the catchiest name, but it'll do. It's also his work that's featured on the lovely poster that comes with this set, showing the Dragon Team flying over Earth. I'm not a big fan of folded posters, the seams absolutely kill it for me, but I'm not really sure what they could have done beyond rolling it and including it in a tube somehow, which may have been cumbersome and out of the budget for this product. Lastly, the set comes with an art book, which also features said promo artist's work on the front and back cover. Once again, wonderful art choices all around. If you're an animation fan like myself, this book is an absolute dream. For each arc, Manga UK have included the official design sheets primarily from series character designer Tadayoshi Yamamuro. We've seen all of these before, whether through Japanese home releases, animators selling their production materials online, or through Toei's various blogs over the years. The thing is, they were almost always horrible quality, missing certain shots, or on dodgy paper. So to have these all here in full and printed on thick premium paper at a large size is a real treat. That's not even mentioning the various renders and posters from various solid artists included in here too. They've even got the Trunks timeline guide that Toei put out in Japanese a couple of years ago, fully translated into English officially for the very first time. For me, this book is easily my favourite part of the set. With the physical side out of the way, I think it's probably important to touch on the video quality then. Unlike Manga UK's release of Broly, where they had a company author the sets for them independently, these are literally just Funimations, but with Manga UK's logo and promo material slotted into the beginning of the disc. Now before you panic, because I know Funimation home release and Dragon Ball in the same sentence is a terrifying concept, that's actually a very good thing here. You get all of their extras, such as interviews and the cast and whatnot. You don't get the hour-long version of episodes 109 and 110, but at the very least, their authoring for this series is actually perfectly acceptable. So let's take a look at some of those tech specs. The series is divided up into two sections really when it comes to this encode: the Universe Survival Arc and everything before it. The reason for this is that the first half of the show, things are very bright and sterile. There's no grain, no real texture. It's a very clean and simple image that doesn't require much in the way of bitrate to produce something worthwhile. The Universe Survival Arc, on the other hand, has a total composite change. The lines get thicker, the world gets a touch of bloom, and most critically, the show has a thick layer of film grain added over the top. As a result, this section of the show requires a significant bump in bitrate to maintain perfect quality, as something like grain is essentially like having something on screen in motion constantly. If you're not familiar with what bitrate is and how it works, I'll leave a link to a wonderful Tom Scott video on the subject in the description below. But in overly simplistic layman's terms, essentially the higher the bitrate, the better the quality. So for the first half of this show, you have a variable bitrate looking at an average of 23 megabits per second, with peaks up as high as 39 in dark or action-heavy scenes. What this means is that the encoder is allocating more bits during taxing high motion or dark scenes, while dropping the bitrate down lower for bright, static scenes. This is actually a pretty efficient choice of the visual style of this portion of the series, and as a result you get 9 episodes per disc compared to the 6 of the Japanese release, with almost no perceivable quality loss. However, the Japanese release sticks with a constant bitrate well into the Tournament of Power with a persistent 39 megabits. On the flip side, the Western release sticks with variable into this portion once again. The average shoots up from 23 to 33 and the absolute peak is almost 41. That's pretty okay to be honest, and the majority of people will notice absolutely no difference, but if you are super sensitive to minuscule artifacts or you have it side by side with the Japanese release, you may notice a very, very small difference in clarity. Again, this is entirely a compromise for 9 episodes per disc compared to 6. In terms of audio, this offers True HD 5.1 for the English dub and True HD Japanese 2.0 for the original language. If you're familiar with Funimation dubs at this point, you pretty much know what you're expecting. It's a very front-heavy mix with the music being fairly subdued. It's certainly an upgrade over the shoddy TV rips, but it's not going to blow your mind, that's for sure. The Japanese audio was PCM on their native release compared to the True HD here, but to be frank, the dynamic range of their mix is so crunched that it really makes no difference. Unfortunately, Toei anime and good audio do not go hand in hand, I'm afraid. Lastly, subtitles and region locking. You have Steve Simmons' full retranslation of the series here compared to Toei's in-house subs on the various streaming services. That means aside from the names that were mandated by Toei for new characters, you're back to the more accurate spellings of character names such as Frieza without the unnecessary I. Region-wise, these discs are locked to Region B, so if you're not in one of the countries that encompasses, these will not work on your player unless it's region free, I'm afraid. That, however, does it for this very short review. As I'm sure you can tell, I really do love this set. I cannot reiterate just how much I love its design work, and it's honestly hilarious comparing it to other countries' versions which just look cheap as hell. This both looks and feels premium, and was clearly put together by someone who knows their stuff. From their excellent tint-free Broly release to this wonderful set, I am a very happy UK Dragon Ball fan at the moment. And with all those design sheets in the extras book, I'm just going to pretend that this release was personally catered to me. Makes me feel good. But once again, this release is 120 quid on Amazon currently, 150 on the other sites, and is selling incredibly fast, so please do be quick if you do want this set. If you don't manage to get it, there is also a regular edition for 90 quid that is identical other than the omission of the collector's box and extras. Design-wise, it's very much the same, it just comes in a smaller white packaging rather than a big grand box. So that's always an option if you missed out or are on a budget. If you have any more questions, by all means leave a comment down below or tag me on Twitter at AnimeAJ, where I am definitely most active these days compared to YouTube. Otherwise, please be sure to rate the video, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that is.